Hello friends. This is fact. In this video, I will explain one content of the Great Awakening map. And I hope you will accompany me to the end of this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. And please share my content with your friends. Flat Earth. We need to know that this modern notion is not very modern. Centuries ago, almost the entire population of the world believed that the Earth was flat. There was no doubt about that. Some of those beliefs were so bizarre, they were easy to believe for people of the same tribes. The Indians, for example, believed that the Earth was on the shoulders of giant elephants, and the same large elephants themselves rode onto the back of an even larger giant tortoise. Mesopotamian and Egyptian civilizations portrayed the world as a disk floating on the ocean. The Israelites also imagined the Earth as a floating disk on water, with an arched surface above it that separated the Earth from the heavens. The dome-shaped sky with the sun, moon, planets, and stars in it. Medieval Europeans also generally thought the Earth was flat. The idea of a spherical Earth was later introduced in Greek philosophy by Pythagoras. Plato wrote about the spherical Earth, and about 330 BC, his former student Aristotle provided evidence for the spherical shape of the Earth with empirical evidence. One of the reasons given by Aristotle for the Earth being spherical. We can attribute the crescent shape of the moon to the shadow of the Earth falling on the moon. Spherical Earth knowledge has since gradually begun to spread throughout the world. The situation was such that science became the absolute victor of this debate, and in the late 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries, no one on Earth doubted the spherical Earth. If they did not dare to express it. Proponents of the flat Earth hypothesis were virtually isolated and had nothing to say in scientific circles. Except for the flat Earth map drawn by Orlando Ferguson in 1893. This map is based in the Bible. The flat Earth model is an ancient interpretation of the disc-shaped Earth shape. In the 21st century, things got a little more complicated, and the debate over the spherical Earth faced new challenges. And despite the scientific fact that the Earth is a sphere, the flat Earth theory has been reintroduced by some people. The issue becomes serious because the proponents of the modern flat Earth theory are not illiterate people of primitive tribes and have reasons for their beliefs, although not scientific. They are not so easy to reject. Maybe because they will not be convinced, and also because most of them are religious people who refer to the holy and religious books. If you deny their theory, you may be accused of atheism. They believe that the Earth is like a huge disk or a large gramophone record with the North Pole in the center of this circular plate. And at the end of the circle are ice mountains that surround the Earth, and in fact these icebergs are Antarctica. They say that there is a wall of icebergs 50 kilometers tall at the end of the Earth, and if someone reaches the edge of the Earth, these mountains will prevent them from falling. If you tell them to give a reason for this theory, they say Antarctica is inaccessible, so we cannot show you the flat edge of the Earth as you cannot show us the edge of space. In this theory, they believe, the moon and the sun revolve in an orbit around the Earth. The moon is like a lamp and is inherently a luminous object, which is why it does not need sunlight to shine. In the theory of flat Earth, the diameter of the sun is 51 kilometers and it is located at an altitude of 4,828 kilometers above the Earth. Of course, the stars are slightly higher and at an altitude of 4,988 kilometers, and the Earth is surrounded by a crystal dome, and behind this dome there is probably water. Proponents of the flat Earth theory even justify day and night and the nature of the seasons with the same sensory observations. In fact, by proposing the 24-hour rotation of the sun on the Earth. They believe that because the sun rotates above the Earth's surface every 12 hours, it keeps half place of the Earth bright and the other part is dark, and this is how it is created day and night. And also with the assumption that the sun changes its orbit during the year and rotates on different orbits, so the angle of its radiation in these orbits changes. In this way, different seasons of the year are created and this change of seasons becomes believable. They say the spherical Earth theory is a conspiracy and that NASA and organizations and governments are taking advantage of it. They completely refute all the observations of NASA and other astronomers, and by referring to the ban on flying over Antarctica. They reinforce the theory that NASA does not want humans to approach the edges of the Earth to know the truth. However, many questions have been asked of them. For example, If the Earth is flat, why can we never reach the edge of it by any means and reach space? If the Earth is flat, why do ships coming from afar appear little by little and not suddenly? If the Earth is flat, why does the shape of the sky above us change when we travel to the south? If the Earth is flat, how do you justify day and night? If the Earth is flat, how do you justify the Earth's magnetic field and its internal structures? If the Earth is flat, how do you justify the circular shadow of the Earth on the Moon during a lunar eclipse? If the Earth is flat, then why are the other planets round? Or even the moons? Why not the flat Moon? Why not Jupiter or Saturn or Mars flat? And they have given answers for each of them, which we will skip due to the length of the article. But the biggest problem for proponents of flat Earth theory to prove their strange and ambiguous hypothesis is gravity. The effect of gravity is the key to accepting the Earth as spherical or flat. On a sphere, gravity pulls everything perpendicular to the surface toward the center of the sphere, but on a plane, the force of gravity changes as it approaches the edges. In the center of the Earth, this force is completely vertical, but as it moves away from the middle of the traction plane, it becomes abnormal and angled. Well, with this situation, sports games become ridiculous. For example, when a player throws the ball upwards, the ball bounces back and lands behind the player. But the problem of flat Earth gravity is not just about throwing the ball, it's much more important. Gravity affects the growth of plants on Earth. Plants grow in the opposite direction of gravity, which is called gravitropism. Well, assuming the force of gravity is not vertical, the further we go from the middle of the Earth to the sides, the greater the angle of growth of trees and plants. And in the end it becomes almost parallel to the Earth's surface. In fact, as we move towards the edges of the Earth, because of this gravitational force, we feel like climbing a wall with a steep slope, which at the end of the edges. This force becomes vertical and it is practically impossible to climb to the edge of the Earth. But the other point is that if we assume that the Earth is flat and there is gravity with the same oblique shape at the edges, the sides of the Earth should be dry. Waterless and grassy deserts instead of frozen mountains with snow and ice. Where not even a drop of water can be found, because the gravity of the center of the Earth draws the water of the seas from its edges. The center of the sea rises gradually in the center of the Earth until the center of the Earth looks like a submarine city. Their answer to this question is interesting. They believe that there is no such thing as gravity at all. And how the gravitational force that is so strong and can hold billions of cubic meters of ocean water weighing billions of kilograms on the Earth and prevent it from rising. But it cannot handle a balloon or a small bird. In fact, they are completely denied the principle of gravity. They consider gravity to be an illusion created by the human mind and believe that the weight of any object is the inherent nature of that object and has nothing to do with gravity. And for example, when an object falls 1 kilogram from a height, due to the nature of the weight of 1 kilogram, it splits the air and falls. This argument means that they did not think about why a person when falls from a height of 4 meters breaks his leg, but when the same person falls from a height of 20 meters break everything and dies. Of course, another group of flat Earth theory puts forward another bizarre theory that it is not the masses that are being pulled toward the Earth, but the Earth that is moving upwards with a gravitational acceleration of 9.8. But friends, as I said, some of the proponents of the flat Earth refer to passages in the Bible that make the Earth the center of the world. Now I want to point out a new case that you may be less familiar with. A new group that says, putting the world, the heliocentric, or the world centered on the sun and the flat Earth model facing each other has been a great deception given throughout history so that people do not understand the truth about the geocentric, or the world centered on the Earth. Citing the same religious documents as the proponents of the flat Earth, they say that the Bible shows the sun moving in an orbit and describing the Earth as fixed. But the Bible also refers to the circular layers, the spherical layers of the atmosphere around the Earth, as well as the celestial spheres and stars that surround the Earth. They say the Bible is completely geocentric, and there is no justification for the heliocentric and flat Earth model. They believe that the flat Earth is an Illuminati plot to advance their goals. They say that what the proponents of the flat Earth theory know is that the Earth cannot orbit the sun in an orbit, and they have taken it from religious books, but they do not know why. So they believe in this medieval theory. They also see the heliocentric theory as a deception. The enemy has made people forget the philosophy of a creator and fall in love with the Big Bang theory and evolution. In general, the material presented by this group is much more logical than the material of the proponents of the flat earth theory. I have tried to recount the reality of the existence of a flat earth, as well as the geocentric theory, which is probably less said. But there is a lot to say that I will explain in later videos. Please watch my other videos on my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and share my content with your friends. Thank you for your support.